Good afternoon, friends. I'm Matt Williams. I'm the director here at Skylake, and it is great to have you joining us for another one of our afternoon mini hikes. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of April in the year 2020, and I'm excited to be out in the midst of the woods, but also near the lake. And as you can see over my shoulder, there is the lovely boathouse. And we are on the lower path today between the East Shore and the West Shore swim area. And just want to let you know that I did douse myself in some bug repellent because I know we're going to be on a trail that isn't regularly used. It's one of our old trails that we've kind of let go back into nature. And so we want to make sure that we're extra careful when we're in this area because we never know when a tick might decide to hop on and go for a little hike themselves. So with that said, I thought today would be a really great day considering the weather and with the sunshine and the warmer temperatures to go look for one of our favorite flowers here at Skylake. And that is the trailing arbutus, also known as the Mayflower. So when you hear the phrase, April showers bring May flowers, you may now know what a Mayflower looks like if we're able to find some on this hike. So that is the mystery. Going with a bit of a mystery hike today. The question is, will we be able to find some trailing arbutus? So there's only one way to figure that out, and that is to get started on our hike. If we pan over this way, through the trees, you can kind of make out Krager Gazebo, which we talked about Phyllis's impact on Skylake over the years and how she loved nature and instilled that in her kids, particularly her son Jim, who was our director here at Skylake for decades and who shared his love of nature with a bunch of us throughout that time. So we're hiking on this lower lake path, and this trail has basically been let to go back to nature for the last few decades, but it gives us this lovely view of Skylake when we're able to kind of walk along here, and you'll see a ton of blueberry bushes. Now in late July and early August, we have massive amounts of blueberries. And so one of my favorite activities when it's blueberry season is to take a kayak out, or now a corkle, and very carefully, with a lifeguard's permission, come over and pick some blueberries straight off the bushes that you can't reach real well from land. So we're looking on this path in particular because, one, I know there is some trailing arbutus on here, but we're a little bit early for us to really see a lot of flowers just yet, and they're pretty small, so we really have to keep an eye out for a plant, usually with 2 leaves, and then either one or a bunch of little white flowers. And one of the reasons why we're on this particular path, one, because I already mentioned I know there's trailing arbutus out here, but 2, it's the perfect conditions for trailing arbutus. The arbutus flower loves acidic soil, particularly acidity from oak leaves. And so I know interspersed amongst all these beautiful white pines, and mostly white pines, some red pines, and hemlock are some massive old oaks. Now, once upon a time, all of Skylake was basically old growth forest with black cherry. And there are still a few examples of that left around, but those were gone by the early 1800s for furniture manufacturing in the region. And so most of the trees you see here come to us from the 1800s and 1900s. Jenna mentioned when she was on her pine tree trail about how a bunch of those pine trees were planted back in the 1930s and 40s, kind of Kilmer's contribution to reforestation. So I'm stopped here. Let's look around. Do we see anything? Oh, Oh, I think we might have found a contender. Let me get a better footing. I do have my muck boots on because I know I'm going to be close to the water, and I am not a real graceful person. So I want to see. Yep, there we go. Let's get right in there. Can you all see that? Right there. That is trailing arbutus. Now these haven't quite flowered yet. We've got about a 2-week window in which we can find the arbutus in full bloom, and we're on the early edge of that window. It really likes just a specific temperature, kind of in that 50s, 60s range. And they don't last too long, but they are beautiful to see. But I bet if we keep looking, we might be able to find some in bloom. Just maybe. Okay, hint, we'll find some in full bloom. But as we walk along this path, I'm just reminded of how beautiful Sky Lake is on sunny days. I mean, it's beautiful any day, but I particularly appreciate sunny days. Now, once upon a time, long before Willa Sharp Kilmer came along and bought up a bunch of farms to create his estate up here on top of Tuscarora Mountain, Sky Lake was actually named Arbutus Pond. And I think one of the reasons why the name was changed is because if this were a perfectly still day, we could look out here and we'd have a hard time distinguishing which is the sky and which is the lake. Today, a little bit easier because the lake is ripply and having some time with the wind. But it's still a gorgeous day out here. It's hard to see, so I'm not going to spin the camera around on you, but we may catch a glimpse. Up above us right now is the main lake path now. And that leads to our sunset tryst, which is always fun. Now, I'm keeping an eye out for some trailing arbutus that's in bloom. And I think it might be just a... Oh, here we go. Here we go, friends. We have just discovered, you and I, trailing arbutus in bloom. So let me get down closer and we will see this beautiful, beautiful flower right there. It's got a slight pinkish tinge to it. Most of the time it is a white flower here at Sky Lake, but it can have a pink tinge to it. So this is really exciting. You don't get to see trailing arbutus every day. Even if you're up here, it is sometimes challenging to find it because it's pretty elusive. It's a pretty rare flower. But I am so glad that today we got to get out on this beautiful, beautiful day and enjoy some of this sunshine and time together in the outdoors. It's especially poignant because we received word this morning that our friend Cal Kramer passed away earlier today. Cal was the director here at Sky Lake from 1970 to 1981, and although I didn't get to spend much time with him, because at that point I was still a toddler, I did get to meet him on several occasions over the years, and one of my favorite memories of Cal is his contagious smile. He had a smile that could light up a room, even the darkest room, and it reminds me of how time at camp can do that to people, that we receive a light that is very precious and that we are invited to share that light with the world. So with that, I want to also remind you that there's still time to order some baked goods for this Saturday's bake sale pickup. You can order those. If you go to our website, skylakecenter.org, there is a link on how to order. We also have another one of these hikes coming up on Friday at 1:30 p.m. I don't know if it will be as exciting as today's, where we found the trailing arbutus, but it will be a good time as always. So friends, I thank you for joining us and look forward to spending more time with you again on our next mini hike. Until then, take care and God bless.